forsaken booth. The truth is you sadly mistaken. Proof I'm better than layman. Shoot, I'm super.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Today we're going to talk about MLW Azteca, episode 1 from January the 6th, 2022. So this is the tapings of MLW that they did with The Crash, which is a Mexican wrestling promotion. This was a fun show. There was some stuff about it that I liked. There was some stuff about it I didn't like, but we'll get into that as we get there. But I think ultimately I liked the show overall. The first match was a trios match. Aramis, Destiny, Mystices Jr. versus Arez, Black Danger, and Dynamico. I said before that Arez and Aramis seem to be fighting as much as Ray and Hoovy from the 90s. And I'm still not wrong. I'm still not wrong. They're reaching Randy Orton and John Cena levels, though. They're getting to the point where it's like every other week they're wrestling now. I couldn't tell who from who. Outside of Aramis and Arez, I didn't know anybody else in this match. And since nobody ever got a real entrance, they was just throwing guys at me. So it was just guys jumping from the beginning to the guys jumping to the end. I couldn't tell who was who. I honestly couldn't tell who was who. But Aramis pins Arez with a spinning, an airplane spin into a powerbomb. It was kind of a reverse airplane spin from the torture rack position, so it was pretty sweet. Hammerstone supposedly signed a new multi-year deal with MLW, which is great for MLW. I'm not so sure it's great for Hammerstone. This guy could be making big bank, either in AEW or WWE. So either he getting that guap or nobody else wants him. And I can't understand the latter. Him or Jacob Fatu. Look, as much as I like MLW and I like it enough to do reviews of it, it's a small promotion. When they did their TV special, I think it got like 20,000 viewers or something like that. This is a very small promotion. Sometimes you have to be generous, and I think, in being generous, you have to realize, like, man, I got this guy. He's tremendous. He should definitely be on a bigger stage than the one that I got. I'm not saying that Court Bauer should just be an idiot and give away Hammerstone or Jacob Fatu, but I think that does have to come into account at some point when you feel like, maybe not Hammerstone because now he's the world champion and you give him his world title run, but maybe somebody like Fatu where it's like, man, I did everything I could do with him. Maybe it's time for him to move on. Just save yourself the money. Keep your roster fresh. I'm sure Jacob Fatu, if you put him out on the open market, somebody will snap him up immediately. Unless he got a real fucked up record. Same thing with Hammerstone, man. They just feel like big fish in a small pond. And it's not a bad thing. That's just how I feel. All right, so we got story. Okay, Cesar Duran is hanging out with Katrina, whose name I can never remember on this show. Apparently, there's a force that is between the two of them. They're dealing with this force who cannot be contained once released. And then they summon King Muertes, and he shows up in a suit carrying that bullshit bullshit Caribbean championship. Then Cesar Duran gives him the order to end Hammerstone and Pagano. And Katrina says she won't be there. She has some other things to deal with. And then Cesar said that he's going to partner up with a myth come to life. And I was like, okie dokie. If you say so, buddy. The main event of the show. This takes us to the main event, of course. The main event of the show, King Muertes and Black Taurus versus Hammerstone and Pagano. This match was fun. I really liked this match, even though it was another bullshit, no disqualification match. This time it makes sense. King Muertes and Hammerstone they got a bit of a history of getting into it. And they basically just kind of recruited mercenaries to be their partners. It was typical of a street fight. But I did enjoy the Black Taurus and Pagano exchange in the middle of the ring. That was pretty fun. The The finish came with Hammerstone pinning King Mortis with the Nightmare Pendulum, which is, I was kind of like, wow, wowzer, pretty clean there, buddy. So Cesar Duran came out there. He's very frustrated at King Mortis' defeat and how easy it was. Even though, it was a pretty good fight, between everybody out there, but a single Nightmare Pendulum put him down. And Hammerstone turned to Cesar Duran, who was standing on the ramp. And while his back was turned, Pagano attacked him. Pagano, his own tag team partner, attacked him after the match, of course. Then King Mortis and Black Taurus all started to stomp and beat up on Hammerstone. And then he was carried away by Cesar Duran's masked goons. His putties, his foot soldiers. They carried Hammerstone away. I was like, that's interesting. That has potential. I remember the last time Hammerstone got carried away, though. It seemed like there was no follow-up to that at all. Last time Hammerstone got kidnapped, it just kind of ended. He was just kind of like, I'm free the very next week. But, okay. I still don't understand why Pagano waited until the match was over to jump him. I don't understand that. Maybe that'll make sense, later. They'll explain it later. Alex Kane says that he wants to fight Tankman. He wanted to look for Tankman. But Tankman is out on bail or something now. Then he called him Crybaby Calvin and said that he wants to fight him and defend his championship, his national title against him. But he can't get his personal life together. So, that was kind of funny, because, they're the reason he got arrested in the first place. So they said that Alex Kane's first opponent is going to be Aerostar. He's going to defend his title against him next week. And I thought that was pretty cool. Aerostar, he rules. He's going to jump off some shit. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. So the second match on the show, Richard Holiday versus Psycho Clown. Richard Holiday comes out with Alicia Atout. And that most of this match was Alicia Atout cutting a promo. She was on commentary. First, she said that she was begged to be there by Richard Holiday. Then she started talking about how Richard Holiday has a crush on her because he handed her his ear pods to watch while he wrestled in this match. The kids are really excited for Psycho Clown, but for some reason we were supposed to believe Psycho Clown is a heel, which makes no sense because it definitely contracts with what I'm looking at. They do, while they're in the ring doing, boo yay with the crowd, with Holiday getting on the ring apron and getting booed and Psycho Clown getting on the ring apron and getting cheered. Alicia's cutting this promo about Cesar Duran and his checkered past and how she's just a humble investigative journalist looking into his history and, and all this kind of stuff. It was all well and good. When the match finally got started, it was over pretty quickly. And Psycho Clown wins with a top rope C4. Not much to it. Not much to complain about, really. It just all happened very quickly and got out of the way. So after the match, Cesar is confronted by Richard Holiday. Cesar Duran then claimed that he protected Alicia from Psycho Clown because Psycho Clown is a very dangerous man. And from there, Richard Holiday is taken away by the Mexican police under some rather dubious circumstances. Richard Holiday is about to do his gimmick where he says, "You're going to be hearing from my lawyer / my father." But as he's being carried away, he says to Cesar, "You're going to be hearing from," and then he paused and he was like, "Fuck it, you're going to be hearing from me." And I thought like that was pretty good. I like that little twist right there. It made it seem like it was for real. It's an interesting angle that they got here with the Alicia Atout, Cesar Duran thing where she's investigating him and he keeps fucking with her, and now he's fucking with Richard Holiday to fuck with her. Of course, it's a soap opera at this point, because she's hanging out with him. She's getting Christmas presents from him and stuff like that. But she claims that there's nothing to it. It's a running gag with these two where they continuously hang out. Alicia is pretending that they're not together. And then, oh, he's just in love with me. He's obsessed with me. But she's always hanging out with him and talking to him and stuff. So it's very interesting. It's pretty fun. Not that big of a deal. But it creates a string for Cesar Duran to pull on when he needs some dramatics. And this is kind of the thing he needed some drama. Where, he wanted to punish Hammerstone for refusing the watches. Which is, what took place before he beat him up and kidnapped him. You also, because Holiday was on the winning team and was kind of interested in the watches, that he kind of has a different angle and different relationship with him. But also you got the monster that attacked Hammerstone. So Holiday has, several different strands here that you can toy with, Hammerstone and now Alicia. And Alicia, you got Holiday. So it goes back to what I was talking about when it comes to storytelling, is that the more connections that the characters have, the more you can play with. And that's basically all they're doing here. Is Cesar Duran is toying with all the strings that has that connects characters together. And that's very fun because that makes great drama. And it also prolongs your story because now you don't know how far you can go with this string. This is very interesting. I like this. So overall, I like this show. The last thing to talk about is 5150, who keep talking about how they got wrestling wet. So that's why there's been a drought in Texas and there ain't been no championships in 40 years or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. There was like a long rambling Danny Limelight promo in there somewhere. But ultimately, basically, they were just saying that the Von Erichs wish they could beat them. And they're going to bring the reel back and all that kind of stuff. I was like, okay. Mostly I like this show. Even I wish I would have known who the guys were in the 6-man tag. I think I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more if I knew who those people were. But other than that, the main event was enjoyable. The angles were fine. No real complaints, outside of, things here and there. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, donate. Peace and blessings. And I'll talk to you guys later.
MongoSlade. Best house I ever drew, Daddy.